What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ASAP Automotive channel, and today we're working on my baby, who happens to be a very dirty baby at the moment. Don't judge me. It has been raining its butt off in South Carolina right now. I don't know what to do, man. I try to keep it inside, and you look at it and it gets dirty. It is what it is. But today, we're doing some fun stuff. I've had this crap forever and finally getting to do it. Today, we're raising the bar. Yeah, I totally did that joke. I'm terrible about it. Anyways, not so much we're raising the bar, we're raising the diameter of the bar. So today we're going to be showing you guys how to change out a front sway bar on one of these C5s. Pretty much about the same thing, definitely for the C6, and pretty remotely close, near about the same thing for the C7. So we're going to actually be upgrading mine from the stock C5 Z06 to the actual front C6 ZR1 sway bar. So stay tuned. Yeah, this is a how-to and stuff, but a little bit of why we're doing this. Why do you upgrade your sway bars? Okay, so one thing you really, in any car build, you need to have an end goal. You need to figure out what you want to do with the car, and sometimes that evolves and changes, with different people, with what Rob done with his RX-7 and how it changed throughout, whatever, and that's cool. But for most people, you really need an end goal. What do you want to do with a car? Do you want to go drag racing with it? Do you want to do road coursing? Do you want to do the Texas, the mile or whatever? You got to figure that out. So that being said, my end goal for this car is like a jack of all trades. I don't want it to be a full-blown drag car or race car or whatever. I want a fun street car. It's a great daily driver, but I want more power and I want it to handle better. There's a lot of ways you can improve upon these cars and bang for the buck. They're awesome. So I want to be able to go out to the road course if I want, just simple change a set of tires, or go to the drag strip, same way. That's really all I wanted to do, is really just change tires depending on what I want to do with the car. It's not going to do anything like super stellar, but it'll do a lot of things great and it'll be fun, and I don't want to cage in it. I don't want to get to that point. So with sway bars, normally, the American way, everything bigger is better, but especially in suspension, it's all about balance. So, yes, what are we talking about here with going to a bigger sway bar? It's the diameter of the bar itself. The bigger the bar, the beefier the bar, the more it's going to resist twisting. What does a sway bar do? Well, it mounts like this. It mounts at 2 points on your suspension, or at your frame, and then your 2 points on your suspension out here. And when you go into a turn, let's say you're taking a left-hand turn, or any turn, the higher the speed, the more force, the more it's going to push. It's going to want to push, up on this and down on this. Well, this bar is going to push back to keep the car from wanting to roll so much. It's going to try to push it back. And the more bar you got there, the more ability you're going to be able to do that. Everything has its limits, though. And what did I say? Everything's about balance, especially in suspension. Sway bars are only as good as your shocks. You got some wore out shocks in there. You go into a hard turn, yeah, that sway bar is going to do its job, but eventually at some point it's just going to start picking up that tire, especially in the back. And all of a sudden you went from all the grip to no grip, and you're in a really bad position where the car becomes really unpredictable really quick. So, that being said, that's why I'm doing with this what we're doing over the next few video series. This is the first one. We're breaking it down into 4 videos. So the front sway bar is going to be one quick video. The rear sway bar is going to be one quick video. The front shocks will be one, and the rear shocks will be one. So to kind of give you guys a sneak peek is what we're going to be doing. Is, like I said, I'm doing a C6. That's the next generation up. This is a C5, Corvette 5, C5, whatever. This is the generations. So anyways, the next generation up. And I skipped from a C6 Z06 sway bar to a C6 ZR1. It's just a little bit bigger, and to be honest, at the end of the day, I just wanted to be able to say I got a damn part from a ZR1 on there because it's awesome. It's really not that major of a difference from a C6 bar, but every little bit helps. So anyways, so that's what we're going to be doing to this one. Today we're doing just the front sway bar. But we're going to be putting C6 Z06 shocks all the way around. My shocks are wore out. They got 60-something thousand miles, but more importantly, they got like 17 years on them. And that's just as bad, if not worse, than mileage. They're just getting long in the tooth. So even if I just swapped out the shocks, it would make a great difference. But the bang for the buck on these cars, you can pick them up from Coltrag, which is where I bought pretty much all this stuff from, or you can find it anywhere, eBay, Amazon, wherever. This is all GM parts. So it's actual GM C6Z06 shocks. You can buy a set of them for like 300 something bucks, which is a heck of a deal. And bang for the buck, they're great on these cars. You can throw them on, it makes a hell of a difference just in the shocks, and you still get a great ride. It doesn't beat the crap out of you. Like I said, it's about balance. I don't want this car beating the crap out of me like a race car. You're feeling like a 1LE ZL1 Camaro, which are amazing, but I want to daily drive this car and I don't want it beating the crap out of me. So anyways, it's a perfect balance. But that being said, today we're going to focus on changing this out. So one of the first things you want to do is, once you get your sway bar, and you are going to need new bushings, because the bigger the bar, the bigger the opening for the bushings. The one we ordered from Coltrag came with the bushing, so we're good there. First thing you want to do is get the car in the air, or get it off the ground or something. So any of you guys have dealt with any of these, the C5, C6, or C7, know you got to have the little pucks in there in the frame or whatever as a jacking point. So if you don't have a set of those, get on Amazon. We've talked about those before in previous videos. I think we got a link to the ones that I ended up buying or something in one of the older videos. Anyways, get the car off the ground to where you can work. Next thing you want to do, it's not super necessary, but we're going to be doing some other stuff today anyways with the car. I'm going to go ahead and take the front wheels off. So once you get the car safely jacked up, if you're just jacking out the front, make sure you block off the rear, parking brakes on, yada yada. So we got the whole safety disclaimer. You're on your own there. Don't be an idiot. Anyways, the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and zip our lug nuts off, which are 19 millimeter. And then we're going to get both the wheels off, and then I can get in here and better show you guys where the sway bar is located. So let's get at it. Okay, so it's really quite simple to get one of these sway bars on and off, though it would definitely help having a buddy with you or somebody, or if your wife or girlfriend is super cool and she's a car chick and she's out in the garage helping you. If she's a girlfriend, she needs to become a wife, because you need to put a ring on that, because it's rare. My wife is that awesome, by the way. So really what you need is 13 millimeter to get these two bolts for the mounting bracket here that holds your bushing, that holds the sway bar. And out here in the end, you have what's called your sway bar end links. They connect your sway bar from here down to the A-arm, and that's what transfers the force. So I like to just go ahead and I'll take the other end off of the sway bar once it's off of the car. It's just easier that way. So what you're going to need here is, you got your 13 there. Then you need an 18 millimeter wrench here. I like using the gear wrenches because it makes life a lot easier. And then you're going to need a 6 millimeter hex or Allen or whatever. And just get in there like that. And then break it loose. And there you go. So now we can push that on out, and we'll do the same to the other side, and then we'll come back and pop out our 4 13 millimeter bolts, 2 on each side, and we can go ahead and drop the sway bar, and then it's out. All right, so now that we got our 2 ends loose and free, we can go ahead and take our 4 mounting bolts here. So we're going to go ahead and zip those off, and we can drop the whole sway bar down, and we can work on swapping it out. Alright, so to be honest, I'm actually pulling this new one off because I did this the other day because I got bored and came up to the shop and decided to do some upgrades and then go drive the car, because that's what car guys do. But anyways, we're doing this video to show you guys how to do this. We figured it'd be a great video. It might not look like much, but those extra few millimeters make quite a big difference. I mean, that's what we tell our significant others, isn't it, guys? In just that much more bar. So I mean, you can get crazy and you can get these aftermarket bars that are just way bigger and stuff. I mean, but unless you're out full blown like road coursing this car and you got some hellacious coilovers or whatever, you're gonna end up just hating it. The car's gonna ride like crap. It's gonna be too tight. It's gonna want to just break the back end loose in a hard turn. It's not gonna be very predictable either. I'll be honest, you know, we're doing these videos, but I've already, like I said, I've already actually put the front and rear sway bars on and the shocks, and oh my God, what a difference. The car feels nice and tight, but not too tight. It's very predictable going into a turn, even with tires that are on the front that are way too old and, you know, are done and flat spotted thanks to some idiot that pulled out in front of me. But anywho, so that being said, you know, it doesn't, you know, like I said, it's all about balance. You know, with one of these, for the average everyday person going up to a simple C6 Z06 sway bar and the C6 Z06 shocks, seashells by the seashore, right? Would be perfect. It's a great balance. I literally just, to be honest, at the end of the day, just want to be able to say I had a ZR1 part on my car. Because it's really not but a millimeter or two more. You know, there's spec sheets out there that'll tell you all the difference in the sway bars and stuff like that. So, but anywho, that's really all it is. You've got the 4 mounting bolts for the mounting brackets here. And what they do is they go around the bushing here that holds it on. So you got to pay attention when you're mounting the sway bar that this part will fit up into the cradle itself, and then this part here mounts like so. That way you can make sure that you've got it, because you don't want to flip it around trying to mount it like that the wrong way, yada yada. Anyways, it fits up in there just like that. So make sure when you order these things, make sure you get the right bushings. I've seen where people order sway bars and they send them the wrong bushings or whatever, and they don't work, and they try to cram them in there. You're only hurting yourself, because it's going to end up just wearing that thing out. So these are like more of a urethane, or, you know, they're not full-blown Delrin, but they're a lot harder than a regular rubber bushing, which really helps. Which what's one of the things later on we're going to end up doing is doing a full Delrin kit on this car for all the bushings. I'm going straight on past urethane and going to Delrin. I don't deal with the squeaking, but I do want a lot tighter suspension, especially with launching and stuff like that. So that being said, once you get it off, these links, it's literally the exact same. You got 18 millimeter nut here, and then a 6 millimeter hex in there. So you don't want to go just hitting an impact on here and trying to spin that thing loose, because what will happen is you start spinning that ball in there. And what this is like a ball and socket. It's a ball and socket joint, just like your hip. You start spinning that around in there, it's just going to eat it all up, gall it all up. Next thing you know, your link's going to be wore out and they're going to be shot. This would be the perfect time to change them out. I'm still kind of trying to kick around which ones I want to go with. There's Heim joint ones, there's adjustable, all this different stuff out there, and I don't know what I want to go with, but mine are starting to get a little roughness in it, but they're not clunking right now. They don't have any play. I ended up thinking that's what the issue I had in the back end, which actually ended up being a bad shock. It sounded like the rear suspension on the driver's side was coming apart every time I hit a bump or a pothole. So anyways, it's that easy to change out the links on them while you're doing it. If you're just wanting to change the links, if you've got, you know, bad links and you got clunking in the front end, that's all it is. You don't have to take out the whole sway bar to do it. You know, it would just be a perfect time if you're doing that. I don't really have an issue with mine right now, so I'm just leaving it be. So that being said, now we can go ahead and, you know, normally in this case you would be throwing the new one in, and that's what we're doing because we've already had it out. But anyways, I'm going to shut up. Let's put this thing back in the car. All right, so now that we got it hung, what I normally do is start with the brackets here. You know, like I said, it really helps having a buddy with you to, you know, while you're holding it, to go ahead and start the bolts and the brackets. I don't like to tighten them down just yet. Just get them started, get them lined up, and then come over here and slide your links in through your slot on your lower control arm, and go ahead and start your nuts there. Do that on both sides, and then I'll run back and zip these down, and then tighten these down. So I'm sure there's a torque somewhere on it. But remember, you're going into aluminum. Don't get crazy. You know, I just bump them down with the impact, just snug them, or you can snug them down with a ratchet. You know, once they're tight, they're tight. You don't have to get crazy. You go too tight, and all of a sudden becomes, you know, righty-tighty becomes righty-loosey. And the same here. Just use your wrench again and your Allen, and then run it down. And like I said, don't try to sit there and zip that thing down with the impact. You're just going to ruin your end links if they're still good. So anyways, we're going to get those 4 tightened. these two on the hinge tighten, and we'll be ready to let it back down. All right, guys, that's it. I mean, it's really that simple on the C5, the C6, and the C7. They're all pretty much the same thing. When you get down to it, they're basically the same car underneath engineering-wise. Granted, there's some differences and yada yada, but basically the same basic car. Like I said, that's it to it. You know, quick, you know, half-hour job probably in your driveway or something can make a nice big difference in then how the car handles. And for not a lot of money, man, I don't think I spent. I really want to talk about what I spent. My wife's gonna probably watch this video, but I really don't think that the sway bar was but like $100-something bucks, and it's a GM part. Like, this great thing with these cars, you don't always have to go like aftermarket crazy stuff. A lot of times you can just play with some factory parts moving around. Literally everything I'm doing is suspension so far is all factory stuff, and make quite a bit of difference, and you still get a great ride quality. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. That stuff really helps. We're really trying to push for 1,000 subscribers right now to get us to the monetization point, so we can actually start making some money, get some better equipment, and start investing back in the channel more than we do already, because that's, you know, we get anything, it's going right back to the channel to make more and more videos and better videos, more fun projects for you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and then remember, until next time, stop is not an option.